Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. As always, this podcast is made possible by our local convenience stores, the misappropriation of history, and you. And now to your hosts, Justin Hammonds, Brant Bramlett, and Drew Shellnut.
What's up? What's happening, world? This is a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. And we're back, episode 14, season 4, more to explore. Today we're talking about the super freak.
Yeah.
Later we'll get into that. I'm Justin Hammonds. We'll got my boy Drew Shellnut.
What up?
And my boy Grant Brand.
Hello.
And yeah, we're back in the building, man. Spring is right on the tip of the toes out here.
Dude, I was just about to say,
what I mean?
this is a day for us to be recording in the backyard.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
it
a
is.
backyard type of day. But you see what I'm saying now? You see what I'm saying? I've been saying this shit for damn near a year. But yeah, we're back on it, back in it. About to drop these hot facts. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all and all that. You can always support us at anchor.fm/Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Give us that 5-star review. Give us that like, that follow. Tell your mamas, your uncles, your aunties, and all that. But yeah, we here. How we doing? How we feeling?
Doing well. I just want to throw another shout out to all the. I'm not going to name them because they're coming in more rapidly, but the new countries, you guys, the new regions and stuff is pretty awesome. We've actually got 4 areas in Ukraine that are listening in,
Oh, wow.
so that's pretty.
Wow.
Cool. Yeah.
That's
dope.
awesome. Well,
that's wild,
fucking
Kiev
hang in
is
there,
actually
guys.
Kiev is actually 57% of that, so number 1. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Well, I firmly stand behind you, Ukrainians. Mm-hmm. And good luck. Fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's just terrible, man.
The crazy thing, too, me about it is, I think it was on Last Week Tonight, John Oliver's little topical show. And he was interviewing a lot, or he's pulling interviews of a lot of like Russian citizens. Nobody wants this goddamn war, except for Putin and his lackeys. It's crazy.
Even
Nobody wants
read
this.
an article this morning that said that the Russian oligarchs around Putin have even come out against what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their body language and see their facial expressions when they're in these meetings, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, why are you doing this? Like,
Well, when he pulled Russia from the Paris whatever peace treaty or whatever, you could literally see them like being forcefully made to agree with him. Kind of a deal, which is
he's
that's a
being-
tyrant.
yeah, pretty much, man. And it's wild.
Read the fucking room, guy.
Yeah,
All those Russian athletes too, man. Like, fucked up for them. Work all your life to be like, on the national soccer team or the fucking skating team or whatever. For
Nobody
the
will
Olympics
play
or
you,
the
yeah.
World Cup, and now they're all getting zoned out. So, yeah, shit's fucked up. Hopefully it quails soon.
Because we don't need World War III.
yeah, we don't need none of that happening.
I really don't think that that's going to happen. I think that they're going to get locked out. Well, and they're already locked out. And they're going to run out of fucking money, and they're not going to have any support
Yeah.
at all. Maybe China.
They have China.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
the only
also the thing where, like, if they cut them off completely financially, then Putin has the whole fucking nuclear thing he can do as well.
yeah, he's got
So,
a nuke that
I mean,
can go around the world 3 times.
He's got a
That
threat.
is
He's got a threat in his back pocket for sure.
Horrifically true.
And China came out saying that if the U.S. steps up like they're doing for Ukraine with Taiwan, that they're just gonna, they're like, it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
So,
we're going to war.
Russia and China are like homies now, bro.
Oh, big
And
time.
We used
big
to
time.
draw that divide in between, but that shit disappeared.
Well, and
because
now
of-
we also have the scary,
other
the
motherfuckers.
scary thing of like the Middle Eastern countries like Afghanistan and stuff like that are backing Russia because where do they get their weapons? Hey, Russia.
Yeah.
And Venezuela, which is way closer to us, is like Russia's best friend kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And they have,
wild.
because when the Cuban Missile Crisis and stuff happened, Russia just moved to Venezuela,
Right.
and has been pumping money and weapons to them since.
That's real.
So that's kind of a scary thought too, but also, I think like what Grant said, we're choking them out financially, and I think that's really gonna. It's either gonna do 2 things. It's gonna fuck them up, or it's going to, in the long run, fuck them up because they're gonna go to war in a more exacerbated way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be more taxing on their whole society. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that shit's a little political dump, but, it's needed to be said.
Yeah. Hey, I got to say, watched the
shit's wild,
State of the Union address last night. He did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
missed all
really
that.
did. And all of
But
his
I did
talking
see some
points
boos.
that, were written on him. Actually, the largest boo And I read about this morning. Oh, that crazy ass bitch from Colorado seems to be friends with the blonde crazy bitch from Georgia because they were sitting close to each other. When he was talking about his son, Bo, that passed away because of like active military.
Chemical shit would cause cancer and all that.
He threw like word that it could be due to the burn pit that was close to where he was staying, and he's going to find out. And even if that wasn't it, he's going to make sure that these burn pits get shut down, or at the very least, these veterans that come back with lung cancer because of this shit or any multitude of massive health issues, that they're actually going to get the treatment that they deserve. Yeah. She stood up in that moment and like jeered at him right after he talked about his fucking dead son. Yeah. About something along the lines of like, what about the 13 people you killed or something like that?
His son was one of them.
Yeah. And
shit's
that
wild, bro.
Largest boo was the rest of the fucking Congress booing her.
Yeah.
Shit's wild, bro.
But at the time when I was watching the city, I got so mad. I was yelling at the TV. I was like, why the fuck would you boo at this man talking about his dead son?
That shit's wild, man. It's crazy the divide that's getting wider in between like crazy radical right and just people just trying to make shit okay.
Yeah.
Like it's either like you're a fucking nutcase or you kind of want everybody to be like all right in life. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking insane.
Well,
bro.
and what's also crazy is that, you would think that Trump would have flipped his script, but he has not. He's been calling dude a genius, a military guru, stuff like that. And it's like, dude, shut up. No one.
There's another man that can't read a room.
Right?
It's getting so ridiculous.
Just stop.
It's like, stop drinking the coffee, bro. What's going on, man? Like, what's in the water on Capitol Hill, bro?
I don't know.
Or what's in some of the water?
I know he
there?
takes Adderall, so he may just be just kind of took too many.
Shit is wild, bro. He's always been riding his dick, though.
Oh, yeah.
From the jump.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's powers to be there that I'm sure we do not quite get because there's a lot of backdoor deals happening up there. So, money and capital rules the capital. So,
For sure.
there's that.
Yep.
But, moving on to a happier subject. That shit can get dark real quick. We got a song of the day of the week, my guy.
Yeah, we do. Since it's Super Freak, I decided to do Super Freak.
There you go.
So I hope you guys enjoy this 30-second clip.
She's a very special girl. From her head down to her toenails. And she'll wait for me at backstage with her girlfriend.
That's great.
In a limousine.
Not in a limousine, baby.
She's not a crowd to her, she says. From 7:14, I'll be waiting. When I get there, she's got incense, wine, and candles. It's such a
Nice. Shit was dope.
So what's great is that if you just go to Super Freak cover, like this is like one of the second things that pops up, but I thought it was just the Rick James video, but it's metal music with the Rick James video. So they're all like dancing and stuff to this metal music. It is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
And they're known for that stage presence. Rick James and his band.
Yeah.
And the fucking costumes. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
The
Lord.
glitter and the braids and the... Whoa. Man, what a time.
His rhinestone cowboy look that he's got all blacked out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about Rick James or hair metal still? I'm lost.
Hey, it's all the same. It's all the same. I mean, they kind of got all their shit from him almost.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
A lot of people did.
There's so much theatrics that came from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, between like Rick James, James Brown, and Prince.
Oh, Lord. Yeah.
Well, you can throw Michael Jackson in there too, but like
Of course
the
you can.
glam shit, like the ultra glam, Rick James and Prince, like they were the kings of that shit.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
How do you think-
androgynous as fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you don't know. It
How do
doesn't
you
matter.
think
What's
Eddie
up?
Murphy looked the way he did and like Delirious and stuff.
yeah,
That all
of course.
came from Rick James.
Oh yeah, that fucking red suit, the purple suit was fire
Yeah,
too.
it was.
You know,
pretty great.
Prince invented the color purple. Fun fact.
We'll marinate on that while we hear these hot facts.
You don't have to fact check us on that one.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
I
it.
know that's true.
Written in stone, it is.
Yes.
All right, so the very name Rick James seems to ring synonymous with his biggest hit, what we just heard, the 1980s dance funk classic Super Freak.
Bang bang.
Yeah, during the height of his career, James was putting out successful albums for Motown as well as producing for talent such as like Tina Marie, The Temptations, and Eddie Murphy.
Oh, yes.
Yet James' drug addiction eventually spiraled out of control, and he simply just lost his ability and desire to write songs. Then ran into some trouble with the law in a pair of disturbing accidents. With a prison term behind him and a young son to raise, James has begun an attempt to clean up his life, but died of a heart attack in 2004.
Oh, I'm Rick James, bitch.
I'm Rick James, bitch. I'm trying to holler at you. Holla, 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 holla.
Okay, it's a hell of a drug.
But before we get to all that, I'll jump into his earlier life a little bit. He was born James Ambrose Jr., Johnson Jr., in Buffalo, New York in 1948.
It's the only other cat I know with the name Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
The other one being the Black Witch in Sabrina on Netflix. I watched a documentary on Rick James like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, James Ambrose, where have I heard that before? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, fucking witch in Sabrina is the only other guy I can reference to the name Ambrose. But dope name.
He was one of 8 children in a family headed by an abusive father who left when James was just 7. From his mother, once a Catherine Dunham dancer who had worked at some of Harlem's most prestigious nightclubs, James learned, obviously, the possibilities of where show business could take you.
Oh, yes. And running numbers.
That's a good gig.
Yeah, it's a super good gig. But with 8 kids in her single-parent household in Buffalo, Maybelle Johnson, or Mabel, depending on your region, her glorious days were long over. Instead of dancing, she worked as a cleaning woman and ran numbers on the side for a local organized crime racket.
Whatever you got to do.
Yep.
Straight up.
Through
And
this, she
by
was-
the way, Buffalo is hella divided and segregated.
Yeah.
As a city.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But in doing this, she was able to clothe and feed her children and was also able to send some of them to private school, which is
Jeez.
pretty fucking
Insane.
That side hustle must have been pretty lucrative.
right?
Yeah, bro.
I want to know what crime syndicate she was working with,
Bro,
you know?
running racket in the 50s, bro? Yeah.
Yeah.
Running numbers and shit back then? Big money.
James himself went to a Catholic school for a time, even serving as an altar boy. But its strict rules and his love of sports could not keep him out of trouble. His formative years were marked by cutting class, petty crime, and an ongoing relationship with the juvenile authorities.
Oh, well. I'll tell you what.
Kind of an on again, off again
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
for them,
you know.
For them. Yeah, okay.
Little light switch guy.
Many can relate. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Yep.
Anyway.
Though James seemed on the road to dead-end future, it was a talent show he entered in high school that finally provided him with the focus that he actually needed to pursue what he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. When he took the stage, and this is a quote, "I started off with a bongo beat," James wrote in a manuscript for his autobiography, Memoirs of a Super Freak, reprinted in 1996 Rolling Stone interview with Mike Sager. "Then I began to sing out this chant. I asked the crowd to sing along, and they did. The feeling of the crowd singing, the people dancing, and the aisles cast a magic spell on me. I made a pact with myself from that day. Music was my life."
Been there.
And it
Right?
definitely was.
You
his
do
life.
have those moments of like, oh shit, this is what I'm. Yeah.
My little band played at like a sort of like a, basically it was just a concert. It wasn't really a battle of the bands, but they were all like, you know, full bands, little lineup thing. And did that for my literary magazine that I was the music editor for. But my band played like its first good set ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In front of a lot of people. And everybody kind of went crazy for it.
That's awesome.
I like couldn't recognize people's faces when I first got off the stage. I thought it was like a spiritual awakening at first. I went from an atheist to very strong questions right in that moment, you know.
Right.
Bro, that full body high and like mental clarity so sharp is like nothing is like it. Well, going like 160 miles an hour on a highway is pretty close, but like nothing else is quite like
Sure.
a good fucking performance on stage. It's unmatchable.
Yeah, the dopamine and everything released is the only thing that I can compare it to is what Grant and I did is jumping out of a plane. Like that's the only thing.
that's
that I can
actually-
compare it to.
For me, I'll do this jump out the sky. I do the go fast on the ground.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Mine's
It
legal at
matches.
least.
Mine is legal too if nobody's fucking looking. So, you know, I guess everything's legal in that, right?
Tree falls in the woods. You're not going to hear this one.
Exactly. You're not going to
hear this law break.
Exactly.
We heard that from Texas.
You're going to see some tail lights in the distance.
He hit 160. He's still alive.
Anyway, not saying I do that on the record.
No. Who would? You know. But anyway.
Supposedly, allegedly,
Allegedly.
it feels really good.
Depends on what your definition of is.
Yeah. Anyway, super free.
So, when Rick James was not yet 16, he dropped out of school permanently to skirt the draft. He signed up with the Naval Reserves. The part-time military duty required James to report for training 2 weeks out of every month. But before long, he was unable to meet this stipulation because of increasing success with his first band, the Duprees. They were a harmonizing group that covered Motown songs, and James had also started drumming with another band, a little jazz act, which I didn't know he was a drummer.
I didn't either.
Yeah, bro, he played everything.
Yeah,
He could literally play any instrument you put in front of him.
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was a musical genius.
I hate those guys.
Right, everything.
It's fucking insane. He would write, like, he worked for Motown, so he would write, like, the horn part, the drum part, the bass part, the guitar part, and the melody for a lot of motherfuckers. Like, he was up there with the gods of a timeless music. Anyway.
But when his military superiors reached the point of exasperation, James was told to report for active duty in 1964. Instead, he fled to Canada.
Maple syrup, baby, let's go.
Right. James
Slabs of bacon. Thing.
James found himself wearing a Navy uniform walking down the streets of Toronto. He was immediately harassed, and a fight broke out. 3 sympathetic men came to his rescue, among them and up-and-coming musicians Garth Hudson and Levon Helm. Right?
Yeah,
What?
Who would
that was
later
his first band he was
Right.
in. Yeah, bro.
who we all know later went on to form one of the biggest bands in the world, The Band.
Yeah.
1960s.
I just didn't
rock
realize that they
ensemble.
met because they were breaking up a fight.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. They took James to a coffee house, and by the end of the night, they were performing together on its stage. But they formed a band called the Sailor Boys, and James went underground using an alias, Ricky James Matthews.
Yeah, boy.
The Sailor Boys were the predecessors to James' next band, the Mina Birds, formed with Nick St. Nicholas, who later go on to become part of successful California rock band Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian guitarist Neil Young was also a Mina Bird for a time, and the group
Yeah,
became
they were super tight.
Yeah,
By the way,
I
Rick James
bet.
and Neil Young was
Shit.
super tight
Yeah.
back in the day.
and the group became well known on the Canadian rock scene. The fledgling band was financed by an ambitious British rock, impresario. Jesus Christ. Hopefully that one doesn't stay there. And eventually they secured a contract with Motown Records.
Turn up.
After recording an album, the Minas were dropped when the label found out James was a wanted man in the United States because he went AWOL.
Damn.
Yep. Realizing his judgment day had arrived, James gave himself up to the authorities, but then escaped from a naval brig. He eventually served out his sentence and returned to Toronto, where Canadian authorities then arrested him on stolen property charges. He served more jail time there before being deported.
Jesus.
It's
Right.
crazy, man.
Why turn yourself in and then break out of a brig?
Right?
Yeah, it's a wild shit. It's like the first recorded record of Rick James was at Motown, or like major label was Motown, and he was with fucking Neil Young on that record.
Yeah.
And it didn't do shit because he got fucking arrested. It's
Yeah.
fucking nuts. to
Yeah,
think
it's
about
crazy.
in history. But
Right.
anyway,
Well, it goes to show you if you're destined to be, you're destined to be.
yeah, exactly,
You know,
man.
'cause
He
he's-
just kept fucking knocking at the door till that bitch fell down.
Right?
Yeah.
But despite his problems with the law, Motown recognized James' talent and hired him as a songwriter in the early 1970s. He grew unhappy with the hit factory nature of the process, however, and quit. For some time after that, he indulged his growing taste for illicit substances by working as a drug courier.
That's a nice way to put it.
A drug courier.
Makes it sound pleasant.
Yeah,
Got your cocaine?
you can't put somebody like Rick James
Special
in a
delivery.
box.
Special delivery, bitch. That's a celebration.
It's a celebration, bitches.
It's a celebration, bitches.
Snort some cocaine. But yeah, you can't put James in a box like Motown, because Motown was literally like, scout the talent, mold them up, get their look. Like, they're putting out, like he referenced it.
They were boy bands.
Yeah, Gary Gordon.
Yeah.
He literally said, like, he got his influence from, like, Ford. assembly line.
Yeah.
So you put all the pieces together and you get a uniform project going out the door that can sell.
Yep.
And that was not Rick James' way. He'd rather get high and just fuck around. It's like, oh, that's dope. Let's make that a song. Right. And that's not Motown's way at all.
Yeah.
Until the fucking late 60s, actually. But anyway.
Eventually, he was able to, after his drug career business, he was able to record an album on his own and took it to Motown, who re-signed him as a recording artist. That LP, Come Get It, and its first single, You and I, established James as a solid singer-songwriter, able to turn the basics of funk into a catchy pop tune. At the height of the disco era, You and I was #1 R&B single, and the album achieved double platinum status.
Yeah. Motown was like, oh, yeah, we might need this crazy motherfucker because we can't just keep making Fords.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
Yeah,
fucking
eventually
crazy.
it's going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta move with the times, bro.
Yeah, under Motown, James put together a massive backup ensemble, the Stone City Band, and became famous for his live shows. The band members were all over 6 feet tall, like James, and wore their hair in braids as he did.
It's a dope idea, but fuck that.
Right?
I gotta wear.
I got to
My
do
God.
the...
I've seen interviews with people from Stone City, and it's like, this motherfucker came in, he talking about some, gotta braid your hair like this, you wanna be in the band. I'm like, nigga, what? I ain't gonna braid my damn hair. It's like, well, you can miss out on this tour. It's like, all right, well, I'll braid my damn hair, but they always like, fuck this. Actually, no, you know what? I'll braid the hair, bro.
Yeah,
You
okay,
say
I'll-
glitter
I'll
too,
take-
I got you, bro.
I'll take
Fuck
the
it.
money, it's
Yeah,
fine.
let's do it. I'll take the money in the tour. It's fine. I'll braid my fucking hair.
Well, with that being said, James was considered a bit outrageous in his appearance with his spandex stage gear, a bare chest, and long braids, like you said. A style which he admitted borrowing from two dissimilar elements, Maasai dancers and the rock act Kiss.
It's got his influence from African people and the whitest motherfuckers. It's right in between that line.
So-
African and Kiss.
So what is this guy, Mr. James, sound like? He sounds like the Maasai and the band Kiss.
Yeah.
If they had a baby. Like, wait, what? Wait, what?
I mean, that sounds like America to me.
Right.
Over the top theatrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Combining really white shit with really black shit.
James
you
followed
go.
up the success of Come Get It with Bustin' Out on the L7
Bustin' Out.
in 1979 and fired up a year later.
Anyway.
The sound he created during this era helped establish him as the historical link between George Clinton's funkadelic sound and the controversy years of Prince.
He gave Prince his fucking first tour.
Yeah.
Anyway.
As the money poured in, James lived well, obviously. He moved into a Hollywood mansion and built a recording studio there, and also bought a large property closer to Buffalo in 1980. Part of the largesse for such a lifestyle came from James's success as recording artist and producer for Motown. He helped craft his hits and others' hits for numerous Motown acts.
Oh, yeah.
But it was his 1981 hit Super Freak that earned him millions.
Yeah, bro.
The song sold 4 million copies and crossed over to top the white pop audience. The album Street Songs sold 3 million copies, and another single, Give It To Me Baby, was also very wildly successful. James was tagged the king of funk punk and enjoyed the social company of stars like Mick Jagger and David Bowie.
Imagine that fucking party.
Right? Mick Jagger and Bowie?
And Rick James.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
At the
right.
height of Rick James' career. Bruh. Like that's enough party for like the life. It's like cool. I had that one night. Now I can get my shit together. You know what I'm saying?
Night,
Like
that was probably like 2.5 days.
that's what I'm saying. Well, in their mind, it's one night. I mean, David Bowie don't remember recording one of the most greatest albums of all time. So,
That's
I mean,
true. He forgot an entire album
He forgot where he recorded it and everything. They forgot it even existed.
until he read about it. He read a fucking.
And millions of people love that fucking record. I forget the name of the record.
I'm forgetting right now too.
Yeah. But anyway, those three motherfuckers partying together, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And also, if you hadn't heard Super Freak or Give It To Me Baby, you're not alive.
Then what's wrong
like,
with you?
Yeah.
like you're not alive. You're not. You might be living, but you're not alive.
Right?
Like, you know what I mean? It's fucking insane, bro.
So in 1981, Rick encountered rock legend Sly Stone, changed his life irrevocably.
Of course.
He and a bandmate witnessed the former 1970s star freebasing, or smoking cocaine, a practice that had severely injured comedian Richard Pryor just a year before.
One of my favorite jokes was pretty dark with Richard Pryor. He lights a match on stage and said, "This is Richard Pryor running down the street." Fucking lit himself on fire.
Richard Pryor running down.
And man, poor Sly Stone was such a boss, man, but like he lost his fucking mind. Man.
Yeah, he did.
Yes,
he
he
went off the
did.
deep end real quick.
Yeah.
Last I heard, he wanted to do a funk band with all albino players.
What?
Somebody interviewed him on the street or some shit.
Okay.
recently. He's still homeless, or it might be dead by now. But
I think he's passed away. Yeah.
yeah, but he was
But
a fucking beast.
Sly Stone appeared so unaware of his surroundings that James and his horn player were shocked at how far he had fallen and vowed never to try freebasing, which was known to be extremely addictive, obviously.
Yeah, bro.
Cocaine
It's-
and smoking it.
Well, it's crack.
Mm-hmm.
Crack.
Yeah.
Crack is way more addictive than cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the dive bar of cocktail launches. If we're still doing that comparison from last week.
But fast forward a few days later, James visited Stone again in San Francisco, and the pair spent a week freebasing while locked in a recording studio. Soon, James was spending $10,000 a week on drugs.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just cocaine.
Yeah.
Like literally cocaine. That was his cocaine budget.
Even though he had continued to have a moderately successful career as a recording artist and producer, Street Songs was followed by Throwin' Down in 1982. He had a hit in 1983 with Cold Blooded, a song he wrote about actress Linda Blair, whom he had dated. A year later, scored with the raunchy 17. In 1985, he launched the record career of Eddie Murphy.
My girl likes to party all the time.
Yep.
Party all the time.
And he
party
produced
all the
his
time.
ill-advised Party All the Time.
Yeah, the video even he's in the recording booth like, this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
great. And it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, man, you
mean,
was on
it's-
them drugs.
it's something that's cocaine all night, bro.
Yeah,
It
right.
seems like a really good idea right now
Although it was ill-advised, it reached number 2 on the charts.
because it's Eddie Murphy in the
Right.
fucking 80s,
Right.
bro. Like he was the god, and actually his reggae music is pretty dope these days. No lie.
Oh, yeah?
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
But obviously Murphy went on to
Yeah, real talk. He's a
direct
great
his-
bass player.
direct his ambitions to feature films. James received Grammy nominations for extensive production work for these and other artists. Over time, however, James' drug abuse began to undermine his creativity. He became withdrawn and finally stopped writing music. His 1986 LP from Motown, The Flag, sold fewer than 100,000 copies.
That's insane.
Yeah. James sued the label to be released from his contract, and the label countersued, saying The Flag was a dismal effort due to the extent of James' drug use. Federal judge in the case finally ruled that the charges of drug use were irrelevant in the company's case against James, which is interesting.
Yeah.
James emerged from the legal troubles in the late 1980s, relatively unscathed, and signed with Warner Reprise.
Well, they probably didn't win the lawsuit because they probably went into contract for him not
Right.
to use drugs.
Yeah.
Probably why.
That could be the case.
Yeah.
But a lot
Which
of
is
times,
also surprising because Gordon was a stickler about that shit.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't in the contract, but that's the only way I could see him getting out of that.
But
Anyway.
obviously, that put his creative career was kind of on the skids after that. A review in People of his 1988 effort for the label Wonderful was less than kind. Critic David Hildenbrand declared the grooves are stale and the instrumentation clamorous. That's what you want to hear as a musician.
Yeah.
The death of Mabel Johnson sent James into a tailspin of self-destructive behavior, and his drug use grew increasingly by the minute.
Yeah, the
which is
interview with
to be
his brother, and he's like, "Yeah, I called this motherfucker. He's somewhere in L.A. in a fucking coke house, and I was like, I'm coming to get your ass. Are you gonna be here? That's your only options." And he cleaned up for like a week to
Yeah.
see his mom pass, and then like dove deeper into the shit
Yeah.
immediately. I was like, "Fuck, bro."
So in 1991, he and a girlfriend were accused of assaulting a woman in their Hollywood home and faced a trial. A year later, another woman also filed assault and torture charges.
Jesus.
Now they're burning with a crack pipe.
Los Angeles prosecutors combined the two cases, and James faced 3 life sentences for a total of 15 felony accounts. Yet the Los Angeles Times uncovered prosecutorial misconduct someone in their office had been supplying drugs to one of the witnesses against James and his girlfriend, and a deal was cut in which James received a prison sentence of 5 years and 4 months
Whoa.
from 3 life sentences.
That's
Oh, bro.
fucking lucky on his hat.
And that's what the judge in the sentences said, that he was the luckiest man on earth.
Look,
Yeah, right?
you got to know.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
You got to realize that Rick James was so massive in his time that a lot of cops would come to his fucking like estates and houses and do drugs and fuck these girls and like hang out and shit. So he was in the loop with all these motherfuckers in a like a behind the curtain type of way.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, yeah, that's why he skated with a lot of shit that he did.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
I mean, the
shit.
judge even said that, like, if it was up to him, he'd lock him up and throw away the key. you know?
Sure.
But
He was a wild motherfucker, man.
litigation,
I
obviously.
mean, pretty horrible, but sure. Wild
Right.
is also applicable.
So James served out his sentence in California's Folsom Prison, where he converted to Islam, joined Narcotics Anonymous, began writing his autobiography, and finally returned to songwriting. He estimated that he had squandered over $400,000 a year on drugs over a decade.
That's like 10 times what I make.
Right?
Hey, he was spending that to have a good time. He was spending
Right.
that to feel something. Actually, by the time in the like early 2000s, he was like, "Yeah, I couldn't feel shit. Like I couldn't feel shit unless I was high on cocaine."
Yeah.
bro. Like,
Right.
it's fucking insane. He completely depleted his dopamine.
Yeah. He apparently considered his incarceration a blessing in disguise. Obviously. I mean, it got him back on his feet. Really, you know?
5
little
years of
bit.
rehab, basically.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He never really stopped.
Not having to spend $400,000 a year for a decade. He was released in the summer of 1996. Though James had declared personal bankruptcy, there was still some money left from his music business to do another album, which was released in 1997 on Private Eye Mercury. Jancy Dunn, reviewing Urban Rhapsody for Rolling Stone, called it a mellow, reflective, and intensively autobiographical affair. Autobiographical, if you will. Although Urban Rhapsody was both a commercial and critical success, James disappeared from the music scene once again shortly after the album's release. The tour following the album was only sporadically successful, with slow ticket sales responsible for the cancellation of a show in Buffalo. Making a comeback after a 2-year prison sentence was also difficult for James personally. He told Anthony Violanti in the Buffalo News, "I feared going into the studio and I feared going on stage again. I had a lot of anxiety, but getting back has been great. The crowds have been amazing. The tour, however, was brought to a halt on November 6th during a show in Mammoth Cave. Jesus. November 6th during a show in Mammoth Event Center in Denver. While performing, James felt something pop in his neck, then reported feeling pain and numbness. After being admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, the doctors diagnosed the singer of having had suffered a stroke. And that's fucking crazy. Like a stroke right in the middle of your performance.
Yeah.
That'd
You
be
know?
nuts, yeah.
It's fucking wild, homie.
It was almost like, Sky, like almost having seizures and stuff on stage. That was like, he was like, "Oh, just let me lay here and take my medicine and I'll be all right." He's like, "But you're the league, okay." Just, okay, lay down.
Wild times, my guy.
Right. James faced more legal difficulties in 2002 when he was accused of sexually assaulting a 26-year-old woman, a charge he denied. James died on August 6th, 2004, at his Los Angeles home, and although the coroner's report found the presence of 9 different drugs, the cause of death was officially listed as a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure that caused a heart attack.
Well,
9 different drugs.
That's also the cost of his fame.
Yeah.
Was nobody put a gate on his fucking wild shit.
Yeah.
So once you get old enough and you just keep doing that, your brain and your body is used to you being so high and operating at such a fucking intoxicated level, you're gonna make terrible fucking choices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you
you're
get
not
somebody-
clear-headed the rest of your fucking life.
No, you get
know?
somebody like him, a handler. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Somebody that's
need
kinda
somebody
there.
like, hey, no.
All the
we
time.
We bought an ounce of cocaine yesterday. You
Yeah.
should not be out of that yet.
Right.
Like, that should be a week worth of shit, bro, at minimum. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'll end the episode
Or
with
at maximum, I mean,
with
shit.
a conversation, or at least a quote that he gave Aiden Vaziri in the San Francisco Chronicle. He said, he asked him if he had any regrets in his career. He said, "No, there's not a whole lot of things I would change. It was such a high point, what would I change? So I mean, and I get that. I've been through some really bad points in my life, but I was at a high point.
Yeah.
Like especially musically,
Wow.
that I wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah,
even
I
going
mean,
back.
it is a thing of flying too close to the sun, man.
Right.
And that shit can burn you out if you don't have moderation. Like, think about all the good artists these days.
Yeah.
They drop a record and they chill. They do a tour and they chill for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they drop in the record. This motherfucker was burning the candle at both ends,
Yep.
going. Like James Brown, same
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going. It's like, bro, you need to sit your ass down for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So-
Exclusivity is a real thing.
Yeah. When he
You know?
when he died, I just was curious about. You said 9 drugs, and I was like, what fucking 9 drugs are there that would work well together?
Right.
Oh, there's a bunch of
None,
benzos
but,
and a bunch of uppers, probably.
Cocaine, methamphetamine, Vicodin, Xanax, and Wellbutrin.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, at least the last one was just for asthma.
He had.
He's probably doing that to catch his breath when his heart attack was
Or
happening.
unless he had somehow found a way to put that into the Wellbutrin, like,
That shit's wild, bro.
Isn't that crazy? So
nuts.
it's like 3 uppers and 3 downers simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming booze too.
of course.
Definitely drinking.
Probably
of course.
weed.
But the thing is, his wife at the time was like, yeah, I mean, he was fine for like a few months, but I'd never seen him go more, I think she said more than 6 months without being completely obliterated.
Sure.
Like he would be sober for like a few weeks, maybe 3 months, and then fuck up, and then clean for 2 weeks, 2 months, and then 6 months of fucking what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So he was trapped. He trapped himself. He built up something so high that he couldn't reach it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's played in front of millions of fucking people, you know, and trying to chase that again. This is no avail, my guy. Like, you're not going to get back to that, bro.
No.
Especially after, you know, all these accusations, you going to jail and fucking like now you're too old to do the shit you used to do. You got to repurpose your shit. You know what I mean? You got to rebrand yourself, or at least try to help the younger community more so, rather than try to be Rick James again.
Yeah,
you're not going to be.
I
that
think
again.
that's consistently a massive issue with a lot of people, especially in the entertainment industry.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's pressure too from the
It's
people
am-
that are making money off you.
it's amazing
You know what I mean?
if you have your moment in the sun. You know what I mean? Because you beat out a fuck ton of other people to even get there once.
And
you know
motherfuckers
what I mean?
lose their dreams every day, B.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people that give up. There's a lot of people that try their entire lives and nothing ever comes of it that we'll never hear about because they never fucking succeeded.
Right.
Right. So, you know, if anybody makes it to the fucking top of the stage, so to say, you know, headlining for a second, and then you inevitably fall off, that's okay. You fucking got there once.
Yep.
It's more than most.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And remember,
take that,
if-
write a goddamn book, and teach them kids, like Justin was just saying. You know, like
do something positive for the community around you, because just because your job used to be art and it became your hobby does not mean you're not a fucking artist.
right.
You know, you're still a fucking artist. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter the level of success.
Give me goosebumps over here, Justin.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just that's just how it is for real. I mean, like everybody wants to get that $1 million fucking contract, that fucking record deal, that fucking I make money off of music or my art or my creation.
I've been
Of
trying
course.
since I was 9
But,
years old.
but
Yeah.
if you are a creative person, you're always going to be a creative person. You're always going to be an artist, no matter what the fuck. And everybody if you're bitten by that fucking beast, we all know the sting. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
all know the biding your time to better time, or enjoying good times too quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's very, very true.
And, you know, just never forget that.
That's true.
You
I mean,
creative
yeah.
people out there.
I
Or
realize
you
that.
non-creative people too. Don't forget that you're fucking a good person, I guess.
Don't forget that you're not creative.
Never forget.
Never forget.
that you're some lame normie.
Never give up, never surrender.
I'll never forget one of my ex-girlfriends back in the day. Her father taught her at Princeton, and he looked at me and asked me, "That's what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Well, you chose a tough road, but you know, hopefully your tires don't blow." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
My 18-year-old ass was like, "What?
I got run flats, baby.
Did I fuck up?"
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is, man.
It is. I mean, you know, consistently, I think like all of us look around at my life and think, I'm a smart person. Could have been a lawyer, fucking accountant, you know, and like.
But your life would have
And
fucking
then-
sucked, man. You know what
And
I mean?
I would
Let's
have,
be real.
you know, a nicer house or not have to worry about this bill or whatever. And then I stop and I'm like, oh, wait, no, that would fucking suck.
Yeah, man. Being a creative
It
mind
is,
is a blessing and a curse.
It really is.
And if
Yeah.
you know, you know. And this is the biggest case of it. Well, one of the biggest cases of it is Rick James was a musical fucking genius. And he got so high that he never got
He might
high
never
again.
come down.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, really,
Like,
though.
for real.
Yeah. I mean,
and
it's
made
clearly
some horrible decisions later in his life.
well, music was obviously causing him to make a lot of bad, like life and social decisions. You know what I mean? And then it's even when he found success, it just turned into drug abuse.
Yeah.
But legal troubles never seemed to stop following him, though.
I mean, that was before he got famous. But I mean, you know, it's the same with many that burn out too early. You know, the 27 Club, fucking like, you know, even James Brown had his, all right, chill the fuck out days. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's everybody that gets that high, bro. It's literally, you got to have moderation. You got to have some type of, you got to have a team. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah,
Without
I
a
think
doubt.
that's true. And
You
I
have
mean,
a better team around you to be like, hey, bro, no.
that does bring
hearing
the other-
no is fucking better than hearing yes all the fucking time. Hearing no once can like shift your whole mind. On
That is a
shit.
fantastic point.
Like
I
for
totally
hearing
agree
no
with that.
once could be like, oh yeah, wait,
But-
I need to reconsider a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fuck.
There's also something to be said about like, you know, the value difference in like a firecracker versus like, you know, a really long burning candle. You know what I mean? Because they both have their place, I think, you know, and it's unfortunate that we lost, you know, a lot of people too soon, but I don't know though, you know, because the fact that they died young sometimes had a
ripple
huge
effect.
impact, and more and more people got to know their art a lot
Yeah.
better because of that, you know, tragedy kind of surrounding it, right? Like, I mean, would Kurt Cobain be as highly lauded if he lived into his mid 70s?
And probably made more terrible decisions because he was out there in that shit too.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucked up
I
on
mean,
that.
think
Well, I mean,
about
and I
think
mean,
about if his music started sucking.
I mean, hell,
And it was all released under Nirvana. Think about where Dave Grohl would
Yeah,
be
the
right
poor
now.
guy.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
seriously,
Yeah, it's crazy.
because that tragedy of losing, you know, his lead singer caused him to start Foo Fighters,
Yeah.
and record drums on my favorite Queens of the Stone Age album,
Yeah.
simultaneously, and now he's motherfucker's making a movie.
Yeah.
Like in theater released movie around his band. It looks really good, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They're trying to record an album in a haunted house.
oh, sweet.
Yeah, and he like gets possessed by a demon at one point. It looks so good.
That's
dope.
awesome.
That's dope.
It's like a comedy horror.
I was about to say, I really hope
Yeah.
Tenacious D is somewhere involved in that because that'd be dope. The writers for that,
I have to imagine
they
Jack
have to
Black
be
will
because
make
they're
a
tight
cameo.
like that. They have to be
'Cause
involved.
Dave Grohl cameoed in like all their shit.
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man.
I mean, it's kind of similar to the way that I look at me leaving the restaurant industry too. Like, if I would have stayed doing that, I've done some really dope stuff.
You have, that's true.
But
Facts. Top 100 dishes to eat in Alabama before you die.
that's right.
Yeah.
But
That's true too.
you just
Drew Sheldon.
like,
Look it up.
I just stepping back was my proverbial 27 because if I would have kept going, I would have ended up drinking myself to death.
Yeah, bro.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like you can say the same thing with, like you said, music is what, you know, was his boat to
Destruction.
the destruction. Well,
Yeah.
the restaurant service industry employees were mine
Sure.
because working in that life, as you all know,
Yes.
and especially like
All too well.
like just for instance, like in Tuscaloosa, I would be working, we'd get off work, we would all walk across the street to a certain bar.
Yes.
They would have, for me and the sous chef, they would have 4 leprechauns lined up for us.
Yeah.
And we would just bam, 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 bam. And then you stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning. You got to be at work at 2.
Yeah.
And it's just rinse and repeat for however many years. And that is just super terrible for
Yeah.
you.
It's self
super mentally, physically, everything.
No
self
shit.
medication, man. self medicating off of the stress of restaurant life, which I think is starting to come a little more to the forefront. I mean, especially, Anthony Bourdain, man, go read fucking Kitchen Confidential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this shit's real. Like, it's a turn and burn business, and that is art as well. Like food industry is art. You're an artist.
Exactly.
Like, that's
Yeah.
art.
Yeah.
Like it's a performing art. If you're a server or a bartender, it's a culinary art. If you're in the fucking kitchen, you're a fucking artist, and that shit is a curse. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. You can be really fucking good, and it can really fuck your life up.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta choose the moderation and the line to walk on.
Well, and like you
know
said,
what I
how
mean?
you're
Like
still
that.
an artist. Like I'm producing some of the best stuff I've ever made now, in a little shitty kitchen on a poor man's budget from Food Lion. You know, like go in there and just come back home, and my creative juices are just abound.
boom.
Just like whoa, like
Yeah,
what's
that's
going
awesome.
on? Like I can do this, I can do this, and like if I drive by a restaurant, I'm just like, ugh.
Fucking cold sweats.
Yeah, it's real, man. I'm finding that delicate balance right now. Thankful for my lady in my life, but that delicate balance is real, bro. It's
I mean,
it's,
shit,
it's
man.
crazy.
I took a DUI and a year off of drinking for me to start even looking for that balance, and even trying to find that line. You know what I mean? And I, for the most part, I'm thankful to say and proud to say that I usually find it, but there's still some nights where, you know, you look around and it's like, I got 3 hours left of this craziness, and I am pretty trashed right now.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That shit happened to me on
Why
Sunday.
did everybody encourage me to take another shot? You know? Not just other people, not patrons, but fucking coworkers. You know, and it's like,
yeah, it's in there. It's like that. Sunday happened to me. It was just a weird vibe at the Inglewood Lounge. Sunday Jam come through Nashville, Tennessee. But I was in a weird.
your bartenders have diseases.
Yeah, right. It was a half moon. I thought it was a full moon, but it was a weird vibe in that place Sunday. And I took my last shot, and I was like, "Holy shit! I gotta clean this whole fucking bar." Whoa,
Yeah.
you know. But find that delicate
Yeah.
balance of the passion and the sustainability, because
You're literally playing with fire.
that's where you have to be at in life, period. Artist or not, creative person or not, you have to find a balance between your passion and what you can sustain in life, you know. And you know, vices are a real thing of life. If you cannot afford your vice, take a step back.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets dangerous. But
Yeah,
super
don't go out
freak.
there sucking nobody's dick for crack.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. I didn't put my feet in that discount. I put my feet in that discount. I bet that nigga buy another. He was rich. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
He been had money.
They should have never gave you niggas money. Dave Chappelle, Rick James, fucking skit, bro. If you hadn't seen it, go watch that shit.
That's fantastic.
Super Freak. This has been the life of Rick James, Super Freak, and a little bit of our confessions as super freaks out here in this world.
yeah, that was a really good post-episode talk.
Yeah, look at that. We got some demons out.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
And if you're in the restaurant industry, don't fold for the beer pressure.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm Justin Hammonds, and I'm saying love, live, laugh, because it's worth living, y'all.
And I'm Drew Shelnut, and I'm saying stay informed, be kind, and make a difference.
There you go.
Grant Bramlett here. I didn't think of one. I've been making a bad habit of not thinking of any before it's my turn. Let's think.
I've said mine out of order the last 3 episodes. Whatever.
If you've freebased cocaine and continued to do so, I never liked you.
Damn it.
But if you freebased cocaine and found your line and took a step back, I always loved you.
Damn
There
it.
you go. Jesus Christ. That was dark and light at the same time. Anyway, love y'all. Remember, find that balance. We'll be back next week with some more hot facts. I think we're going down under. But anyway, this has been a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. And we out.
Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for the next installment. Find us on Facebook and Instagram to stay up to date on all things Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Our Instagram handle is friends_facts_fiction. As always, please reach out to us. You can send any of your questions, praise, and fact-checking to friends_facts_fiction@gmail.com. It's important to us to only propagate the truth, and we'll correct any errors we may have made. Your hosts and researchers are Justin Hammonds, Grant Bramlett, and Drew Shelnut. Our episodes are produced by Grant Bramlett. Additional producership provided by Grace Higgs. Our recording engineer is Grant Bramlett. Our editor, mix, and mastering audio engineer is Jeremy Mulder. Lighting design is provided by Augustin Hammond. This has been a production of Friends, Facts, and Fiction.
Out.